Yeah, okay, so today we're going to be having a look at Git Bash. So this is basically the command line version of what we're going to be doing on GitHub. Using this is a preferred because if you know this, you can use it anywhere where you need version control. So let's get into it. So right now, first what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a local repository on our computer. It's not going to be connected to the internet in any way. That's what we're going to be doing in this video. Okay, so in the following videos we're going to be cloning an online repository. We're going to push commits to it, and we're going to revert to a previous commit, and we're also going to push that repository, the commits that we made here, we're going to push it back to the internet. So that's what we're going to be doing in this series of videos. So let's get started here. Right, so first, a couple of commands that will be useful are the ls command and the ls-la command. So people with Linux or have used Linux in the past might be familiar with this. But what the ls command and the ls-la command do is it basically lists out all the files and folders that are present in the current active directory. So if I hit ls, you're going to see all the files that are in my current directory, right? And if you do ls-la, you're going to get a list of all the files in the current repository, in directory, like what you just saw earlier, but you're going to get a lot more information. You're going to get read, write, like what permissions you have, what kind, when it was made, what date, what time, everything. Much more informative, right? So those are useful. Right, so now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to create a new repository, a local repository. So for that, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using the command Git Init, and then I'm going to give it a path. I'm going to say d:, so I'm going to say my B drive / and then I made a folder called GitHub, which is my folder's name, right? And then inside the GitHub folder, what I want to do is I want to create a repository called test. So now that I have this done, if I hit enter, you're going to see that it says initialized empty Git repository. That means it's there. So let's actually move to that. So I'm going to say change directory or cd, and then I'm going to move to that position. So I'm going to say /github, right? And then I'm going to say /test. When I do that, you can see something that's popped up. You can see a master here. You can see that you have a directory over here, which is cool. This basically means that right now we're inside the repository, and we're on the branch we're on is called master. We'll be going into the branches stuff in further videos. Let's just this is just like a introduction kind of thingy, right? So now what we're going to be doing is we're just going to say let's just list out everything. Let's see ls-la, right? So you can see that you have a .git folder, which has stuff I'll be explaining in later videos, naturally. So yeah, so now you just have your folder, you're inside the repository. So now let's add a text file. So I'm going to be using the nano editor for this. You can also make a plain text file. So I'm going to say nano, I'm going to say welcome text, welcome.txt, right? So I'm going to say enter. I'm going to say hello world, okay? I'm going to hit Control X, and then I'm going to say yes, and then I'm going to hit enter. So for the yes thing, you have to hit Y. You can see it at the bottom. It was like somewhere over here, right? So now that we have a file, if you do ls-la again, you can see that we have the welcome.txt over here. So now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding this file to a staging area. A staging area is basically a place where you put all the files before you're actually ready to commit them, right? So what I'm going to say is I'm going to say git add, and then I'm going to give the file name. So welcome.txt, which is cool, right? So now that we have git add welcome.txt and hit enter, it's basically added. So if you go to, so now to see what happened, to see the staging area, hit git status. So if you hit git status, you can see that changes to be committed is welcome.txt, right? So I'm going to say commit, yeah, so I'm going to say, wait, I have to say git commit, and then I'm going to say -m, I'm going to give it a message, right? So I'm going to say welcome.txt added. So I'm going to say welcome .txt is added, right? And after I hit enter, it says it has been committed to the master branch, right? And it's been inserted. So now let's see a log. So Git log is basically a log file. It lets you know everything that's happened with that repository. I'm gonna say Git log. You see that? You can see that it gives you the author name, the email address of the author. You can also see the date, the time, everything, right? And this is called a commit ID. So we'll be using this to revert commits and stuff. I'll be explaining those later. So now that's it for this video. We'll be talking more about these in future videos. Thank you for watching.